Hey y'all, Kelly Whitney here with another thing that older Black women should tell younger Black women, but sometimes don't. And the lesson for today is always advocate for yourself. Now, I got permission from one of my best friends, shout out to Aisha, and I want to talk to you specifically about a healthcare scenario. My friend Aisha has one child. He is fabulous. He's a junior in college, very handsome, very solid young man. He was born when she was 29. She had a problematic pregnancy. They basically discovered that she had endometrial cancer. She ended up having quite a few problems, bed rest, all this and that. But the things I want to talk to you about is how her cancer diagnosis came about. In hindsight, she said she would advise another woman to handle differently. And I think this is an important topic because a lot of times Black women are gaslit in medical scenarios, and when we come to the doctor complaining of pain or these symptoms aren't right, we're often like brushed aside. If you truly feel that there's something wrong and your doctor's not taking it seriously, you have one or two choices that you should make. One is find a new doctor, or two, you need to make that person do additional testing, listen to you, take it seriously, whatever the case may be, so that you can get additional care. In Aisha's situation, she actually took a cancer screening. The results were messed up somehow and she got a negative, and it should have been a positive for cancer. And so they ended up putting her on hormones, which is exactly the wrong thing to do for her particular condition. She was bleeding and, had like a period for basically a month after she gave birth. Just all of the wrong steps were taken to help her. And it was only her persistence and saying something is not right that on a follow-up visit, the doctor did another cancer screening and realized that that first cancer screening was inaccurate and that she had actually had cancer this whole time and they had not been treating it. Long story short is Aisha can't have any more kids. In that period of time when she was misdiagnosed, she was suffering. She was exhausted and she was caring for a newborn, tired and worried, and it was not necessary. Had she been treated more carefully, the whole scenario would have been different. A lot of times when we as Black women go into situations where we're not being treated the way that we feel we should be, and we protest that treatment, even in the most non-threatening terms, it becomes an issue because how dare you not just accept what you're being given? And I'm here to tell you, don't fucking accept just what you've been given because that's somebody else's idea of what you should have. It's not always about the other person. You have to live, you have to, sustain your health, you have to sustain your career, etc., whatever your relationships, and you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be taken seriously. I chose the health scenario specifically because there's been a lot of very high profile cases. There was one, I can't remember her name, God bless her, rest in peace, but there was a Black woman, a very prominent influencer, who had a similar situation where she would just gaslit, and ultimately died because they found out too late that she had something very, very serious. It's enough that this woman who had several children, if memory serves, is no longer with us behind some hoe shit. This is one reason that I say you have to take excellent care of yourself, because you can't always depend on doctors to do the right thing. Sometimes they don't know, which is normal. Nobody's perfect. Doogie Howser is just a show. House is just a show. The doctors are not always like medical geniuses who know every single diagnosis and etc. If you have a situation where you're going to the doctor for whatever reason and you're not getting satisfaction, you may have to do your own research. You may have to go to more than one doctor. You may have to say, here are the pattern symptoms that I'm experiencing. Could it be this? What is your next step in diagnosing what's wrong with me? How do you plan to test to either prove or disprove your next conclusion about what this could be? You have to ask those tough questions, and you have to look these people dead in the eye when you're asking them. If they don't take you seriously, get away from them. Don't waste a lot of time with people who say there's nothing wrong or who just seem to be throwing things out there like, oh yeah, well you just need birth control pills. Oh yeah, you just need this. No. What is your test to assess whether or not that is in fact the right course of action for me to take? You need to be able to advocate for yourself. And that means addressing problems head on. It means addressing them often without emotion, because as soon as emotion enters into the situation, they're going to use that as an excuse to discredit you or to ignore you or to brush your concerns aside. You have to maintain your composure, and you have to come at them as though you're a doctor in a way, or you're an authority. In fact, you are. are, because you know your body better than anybody else. Sit down, plan out what you're going to say. You need at least 2 or 3 key points with which to convince somebody to take the desired action. Well, I need you to run additional tests. I think we should do the cancer screening test again, because I've discovered that this can be a symptom of this can be a symptom of that, and I've had these symptoms for this length of time. This is too long for this simply to be related to X. Get some paper and a pen. Make notes. That way you won't forget when you go into that conversation. If they try and deviate, hold up a hand, excuse me, and go back to your list. Take it that seriously. In the case of healthcare and ensuring that you are treated well and thoroughly assessed for potential illnesses, screenings, etc., sometimes you have to ask for things. They may not be offered. You're worth it. It's your body. It's your life. Other people are never going to take your situation as seriously as you do. Especially as a Black woman, I'm sorry, it's not fair, but this is the game, and I think you should play to win. Just know that other people are never going to take you as seriously as you do, or as seriously as they should. There's too many situations where we've been poorly treated in healthcare scenarios for me to just assume that it's a one-off. Racism, bias, and then that intersectionality of race and gender does not often work in our favor in healthcare scenarios. Be aware of that. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself, because it literally could mean the difference between life and death, or recovery, or decline. You have some control over those things. Exercise it. Older Black women don't often talk to younger Black women about this, is because we don't often know how to advocate for ourselves. Many of us have been taught to just accept what we're given. Oh, well, he's a doctor. He probably knows better than I do. Not all the time. We're a little bit more passive. So in scenarios like this, we've been conditioned or groomed not to make waves, not to buck the system, and to perceive that person as the authority, and therefore they should not be questioned. False. So please keep that in mind if you go into a healthcare scenario where you feel as though it's not going the way that you want. It is perfectly okay for you to advocate for yourself, and I hope you do. That's it for today's lesson, or thing that older Black women should talk to younger Black women about but often don't. And I hope you guys come back for the next video.